Hi, my name is George Rosales from Rosales Radio, and this is Props Comic. Bill Engvall. Bill Engvall was the first actual comedy album I listened to as a kid. My aunt just had it on a cassette, and we would just play it on a loop. And those were the first jokes I ever learned and actually tried with like tell my friends and stuff like that. So I was always I feeling making people laugh. That feeling always felt good since I was a kid. So I was just like Bill Engvall kind of started everything for me. You know what it is? I think one-liners are a big part of comedy, and I can't really do one-liners. So like a Mark Norman or Mitch Hedberg, like those kind of like boom, 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 boom kind of comics, just always like, damn, man, how do they do that so fast? You know what I mean? Or even comics that do great crowd work, like Big J Okerson is also like, I can't do crowd work for dick. So seeing, you know what I mean, somebody that actually do an hour that was not written at all, you know what I mean, just bullshitting the whole time just seems fucking badass. And probably Shane Gillis too, actually, when I think about it, because just a lot of his materials, like, just I don't know, just the way he thinks is fucking hilarious. The first bit that came to mind when I thought about that one was Bill Burr, the helicopter story. Have you ever heard that one where he's talking about the guy that inherited his dad's helicopter company, and he booked a couple to get take a tour on, and the guy is the only one that showed up. And turns out the guy had a terminal illness. So in the middle of the flight, while he was taking the tour, he jumped out of the helicopter over the ocean, thinking he was going to kill himself. But he hits the water and doesn't die. Like he does, it's a whole story the way he does it. But it's like that's probably one of the funniest bits I've ever seen in my life. Like I still remember that one, like word for word to this day. And that shit just every like even though I know the punchline and know how it goes, it still cracks me up every time, dude. Yeah, because if I want to, I would love to watch like Louis C.K. I was always wanted to go watch a comedy show at the Chicago Theater. That's probably one of my favorite like venues. So I would have loved to either see either John Mulaney or Louis C.K. in the Chicago Theater would be dope. So I would do. I was on a South Soldier Field. That's just my in my head. You know what I mean? So that would have been dope to do. I mean, if I have a choice, you know what I mean? Yeah, I would love to fucking just do Soldier Field and then die after that. Die a happy man. The only two things that I do every time before I go on stage is smoke a joint and I bless myself. Like I always just give myself a quick. I don't know why. My parents have always just told me like primero Dios. Even though I'm not really that religious, it's just something that feels like I just do it like you know what I mean real quick. And I mean it helps. It calms me down a little bit. You know what I mean? To just go up there and just do my thing. But yeah, I always bless myself before I go up. Yeah, it's weird. But I do it high, which is even weird. Like I don't know, if that's counterproductive. uh, shouldn't the only answer is if you're not funny, don't be a comic. If you're not fucking funny, get out of here. Should be. I mean, people do it for different reasons. You know what I mean? A lot of people use it as an outlet. To to talk about stuff that they want to talk about as a therapy session, you know what I mean? Which I love that. I think it's fun to just I like being the center of attention a lot of times too. So it's fun to like go on stage and just talk my shit. So I mean, it's just all different reasons for why. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their reason, but everybody it collectively comes. You know what I mean? To do stand up, which is cool. Yeah, I guess that more like therapy. Just talk my shit. You know what I mean? Or just like I said, I've always liked being funny. I've always like as a kid. I've always just like I remember when I was a kid, the first time I got a real genuine laugh from my uncle. I was in t-ball and I just cabbage patched on the mound. I was a pitcher, and I wasn't doing it. So I just started cabbage patching, and I saw my uncle laughing, and I was like, oh, okay. And the same thing, and then I started learning like how to do other people's jokes and shit, and just acting like a fucking idiot for most of my life. So it's just I just always being like I like being funny. So I just thought, why not try to get paid for it at least? If we could do something, you know what I mean? Do something I love, you know what I mean? That's the only thing I've ever genuinely like loved doing is just bullshitting with people, you know what I mean?